How are you?
Yes, kind of. As much as I could from the parking lot up.
Yeah, I saw it in the grocery store.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the infrastructure meeting together. And tonight we have 3 items for discussion tonight. At the beginning, we're going to let Mr. Higgins discuss a issue that was brought before me regarding some commercial battery storage facilities.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I will go through, this is an information. So this was brought to the county judge's office attention very recently about a potential energy storage facility that they're looking at a site down off of White City Road, south of Mayflower. I'll go through and show you exactly where the site is and everything, but I just kind of want to cover it. Black Mountain Energy Storage has identified the substation in Faulkner County that presents a great opportunity for the construction of a standalone battery energy storage facility. So this is their words. In fact, here I pulled this out of the email they sent us. So we're interested in potentially developing on land adjacent to the substation. The standalone battery energy storage facility, which is called the BESS, will encompass 3 acres of land and will tie directly into the nearby substation to charge and discharge electricity to and from the grid. So I've only gone into a couple of sentences here, and it got right there already got our attention. They're wanting close to a grid, and they need a couple of acres. So I'm making a point here of why this caught our attention so quick. Visually, the BESS facility will consist of a metal enclosed structures and then filled with lithium-ion battery modules in climate-controlled containers. The project will require heavy equipment during the construction phase and then will operate as an unmanned facility requiring maintenance and testing visits only a few times per year. Construction can be anticipated to begin 6 to 8 months prior to the intended operation of the facility. So if you go to the next page, you'll see the map there. This is just a high-level Google map. So this is a Google map of roughly where it is in proximity to Mayflower. If you're not familiar with where White City Road is, the next page is actually a photo that they sent us of the area in green, circled in green, shows its proximity to the Mayflower Energy Power Station. And down on White City Road, they indicated that they would only need 2 to 3 acres to develop this land. I believe that plot is bigger than that, so there's going to be some buffer around it. The next page, so here's like clue number 3 or 4 that caught our attention, actually is a photo of what the facility looks like. So at this point, this is the emerging technology. We were not familiar with what a BESS is. This was new to us. So we spent some time researching it to find out what it was, and then we developed some questions that we sent back to them on the next page, page 6, it actually shows. So let's go through the initial questions that we sent back to them that they did answer and answered relatively promptly for us. What is potential local environmental impact concerns? And so the BESS is designed to have minimal environmental impact on the local community. The project does not produce emissions. It operates quietly with no continuous on-site personnel, and the enclosed battery containers are designed to prevent leakage or contamination. All components are installed in compliance with state and federal environmental regulations. Even though they mentioned it earlier, I went and asked what type of batteries utilized at the site, and accordingly, what level and type of fire suppression considerations are on site, and what will a local fire department need to consider. So they answered that. The site utilizes lithium-ion batteries. As I understand, these are the same types of batteries that are used in battery-powered cars, some drones, some skateboards, and even iPhones and those kind of things. So these are not uncommon batteries. Each enclosure contains multiple layers of redundant sensors that continuously monitor for smoke, heat, and gas. If an anomaly is detected, the system initiates an automatic shutdown to prevent thermal runaway or fire. These preventive measures are in line with national safety standards. In the unlikely event that an incident occurs, project operators will have worked with local fire department to develop a comprehensive emergency response plan. This includes on-site training, system familiarization, coordination response protocols to ensure that the fire department is fully prepared and equipped to respond effectively. All units are designed and tested per UL standards to prevent propagation from one unit to another in the event of a fire and remain confined to a single unit. All right, then here's my key question on question number 3. How much noise does the facility typically generate? During normal operation, the noise generated comes from auxiliary cooling equipment, which is comparable with residential HVAC units and the site are designed to be fully compliant with local noise ordinances. As an unmanned facility, no continuous operational staff will be present, and the HVAC equipment will only operate intermittently as temperature and operating conditions require, i.e. in the summer. The air conditioning will be cooling mainly in the summer. Since equipment is used to move energy off of and back onto the grid, it is not purposefully consumed on site. The amount of cooling required is considerably less than that used by data centers or crypto mining facilities, and therefore the amount of HVAC required is significantly lower. While similar in construction, grid connection and appearance, the noise levels of the two types of facilities are significantly different. In addition to this, we typically set the storage containers as far back as we can from the property lines and or neighborhood residences. As I mentioned above, we do not have a site plan prepared yet, but as the project progresses, we will share as possible. And I took, as we were doing our research, here we go, we found out there is actually a facility in White County that is similar to this. The one in White County utilizes solar and BESS. OEM Director Chief Hillman and I went to Searcy yesterday to go take a look at that one. And just from our unscientific observations, we did not detect any undue noise at all. We were able to get within 75 or 100 yards of a couple of facilities, had an HVAC unit attached to it. It appeared to be running yesterday with me, and I mean, nothing more than you would any other standard home or building. So just wanted to share that with you. Also, Chief Hillman was in a fire prevention class, and one of the instructors was with FDNY, the New York City Fire Department. And during one of the breaks, he asked him, because in our research, we found out that New York State has several dozen of these facilities. They use them quite a bit up there to help levelize the grid, the power grid, which is the purpose of these facilities, to help levelize power grids and minimize brownouts. He said that the only concern that they have actually are the lithium-ion batteries and the fact that they're hard to fight when they catch on fire. And that's not relegated to this particular site. Any lithium batteries are hard to fight, so we'll have to make special protocols if they do that. So the purpose of my speaking to you is just to advise the infrastructure committee that this is something that will be looked at in our county. It's not a definite that they're coming here. They were asking some zoning questions, and there's some other questions that they asked the judge's office that we answered that is not untypical of any other business that may be wanting to come into the county. But as you can see, it caught our eye, just some of the similarities of other issues that we've been dealing with in the county. We thought it would be appropriate just to go ahead and make it public that we're aware of this and that we're pursuing communications with them. Any questions for me?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jason.
I'm just curious. I mean, obviously this is going to take plenty of water. And it's Mayflower Fire Department, I believe, down there, and they're volunteer for the most part. So that's obviously kind of a big issue. I think the landfill is right down the road from there as well. So this plot of land, I mean, obviously I'm looking at, you're going to strike out a big area where they can build because you've got a power line easement and you've got Union Pacific right there. So that, and I assume they're not going to build this across the railroad.
Yeah, I think we would assume that, yes.
My main concern on this, I mean, obviously we don't have any real design for it, so would be just getting water out there, making sure there's hydrants, and because, like you said, lithium batteries burn extremely hot and they're extremely difficult to put out. So that'd be the biggest concern, would be making sure they have proper fire protection.
Well, and in all transparency, as we looked into, we're not even sure water is the correct way to fight it.
Yeah.
There could be other suppression chemicals that might be important. So water may not necessarily be an issue.
Then the other issue, I guess, would be ideally the state fire marshal's office would be following this, so we don't have issues like we have at the mill facility as far as making sure trucks can get back and forth in certain areas. So.
Okay. Exactly. Yeah, good feedback.
So my question was, how long have you known about this?
Less than 2 weeks. Hang on a second, let me look and see. I have an email. Yeah, it looks like I was advised of it on May 9th. Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago.
Have you spoken to anyone in Mayflower about this?
Chief Hillman has spoken with the fire department about that to let them know, and that we were pursuing finding out as much information as we could. Again, because it's an emerging technology in our area, we wanted to do our research on it.
Yeah, to me, that seems like it'd be I've seen quite a few videos of the cars and phones and things burning. A facility that big would be a pretty tremendous fire, I would think, if it ever got lit off. All right, thanks, Randy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Administrator, I appreciate the information. Just a couple questions. You may not answer this. One, obviously, this place wouldn't have a benefit to our community. Employment, financial. Is there any benefit that would help our county with having one of these, other than the grid part?
Well, they would pay personal property tax for the facility. They would probably pay some form of excise or sales tax for the power that they use. Since they're not going to have any employees, there's not any job opportunities other than the construction phase part of it. So the answer to your question is not much.
Secondly, the resource side of it, it's like we're talking about if something was to go wrong and how to put that fire out. Would they be responsible for obtaining those resources to get it close to the facility in the event something happens?
So I think Justice Tyler, part of that will be negotiable, but as they mentioned in one of their answers to me, they are responsible for fire suppression on site, and they have a number of these. Apparently, they're very popular.
So they're self-sufficient.
That's right, to be able to put the fire out on site. Yeah.
I just didn't know if that meant, like, because, you know, when you go to build something, obviously you have to have something to help put out the fire. I didn't know if that's something that beyond their self-sufficient that a code would require. Of course, in the county there's no code really, so I just didn't know if that would mean a fire hydrant or something to that degree that who would pay for that.
Well, there are codes that do apply to this. There is the state building codes, and then NFPA 72, which are the state fire codes that absolutely would apply to that.
Okay.
Yeah, so they would have to meet all those requirements. And then whatever the industry requirements are for that type of a fire for lithium. Chief Hillman is actually looking into that now. I mean, we still have unanswered questions that we're researching, We just did not want to wait another month before we advised the infrastructure committee that this was ongoing.
Well, I can appreciate that.
I'm an expert in a number of topics, this is just not one of them.
Justice Tyler, I'm gonna assume, having been in it for a long time, there's probably gonna be some mutual aids that would help. You probably would, if there were a fire to break out, more than likely you'd have City of Conway and probably City of Maumelle coming in with the two closest, like, full-time fire departments. And that's kind of standard, especially on I-40 and other issues.
Is this, I could, is this a separate company from Entergy? Is it an Entergy facility or?
No, this, the name of the company itself is, Black Mountain Energy Storage. And they are will be buying energy from Entergy and then also selling it back to them. So they will buy it, store it, and then during high peak usage, when Entergy needs additional energy, they will in turn sell it back to them.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the concerns about fire. Obviously, that is a major issue. I'm also wondering about water, like Justice Line mentioned, not in terms of water service, but in terms of drainage and flooding possibility. Are there any flood areas near this property? Is that at all part of the planning process?
So it will be. So again, as mentioned from one of the answers from the company themselves, they'll be providing a site plan. At this point, they're determining if they even want to purchase this. But they mentioned that they will be doing site planning and that they will revisit with us when that happens.
If you don't mind, one more question. I'm just curious, with the crypto mining using a ton of energy, I know there's been issues with too much energy flowing through the system. If a crypto mine shuts down, would this also be a benefit to that, to take down on surges? That may be a question for this facility.
So, let me see if I have them here. I left them on my desk. I actually have a stack of articles that I downloaded that I have been reading through, and it actually helped me look as well to see. We did searches online to see if there were any negative impacts in the news media to see any issues that they were having. Specifically, we were looking for noise. That was our primary concern. But when you look at the power consumption part of it, I don't think it's going to be that type of an issue. Actually, when we're in a high demand, they will be beneficial.
Yes. Well, what I'm asking is, I think, and this may be a question more for the business, is it may actually be a benefit with this crypto mining. They use so much energy, and when they have to shut down for maintenance, that leaves a lot of power still in the system that can overload the system. So I wonder if these type of facilities would allow it to backflow in and store and take relief off the power grid. So you don't have a blackout or brownout because of too much power. It's kind of a weird question, I know.
No, it's a valid question, but you just went to a technical level that I'm not able to help you with. Oh, fair enough. Okay?
Yes, we got a question in the crowd.
Yes, sir. I have been researching a little bit of the BESS, and it's kind of a long story there, but with the fire containment system, the way that I am understanding that these work is that they are built to be contained, but if they do catch on fire, which is rare, they are contained, and then they are built and set up, they allow them to burn themselves out. So the only firefighting that would need to be done is the grass surrounding the facility. Now this is a different company that I have dealt with in the past, but the way that it has been explained to me that is if it does catch on fire, our fire departments, you step back and you let it burn. There is nothing that they do except for the perimeter of that area. The company that I'm familiar with is prepared to train the fire departments and provide any possible equipment needed to fight those fires. So they would come in and do yearly training and provide any and all equipment. So I don't know if that would be an option with this particular company that's looking at coming to Mayflower, but I know that was one of the situations in my experience that they were willing to provide. So if we can get some help for our volunteer fire departments and get some equipment that might be needed for those, I think that would definitely be something that we need to look at. Justice Tyler, you also asked about the property tax. situation and how much money it would be bringing in. I'm sure our assessor as well as our treasurer could probably run those numbers, collectors. But again, in my experience, that money, that sales tax money is significant in running out of the project. So maybe worth running a few numbers just to see.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Or?
Yeah, I have one more. Do you have any information as to what kind of toxic vapors or fumes would be let off or emitted from?
With a lithium fire, yes, there are some. Chief Hillman, again, is doing that research for me. I asked that question and he goes, yeah, let me find out.
I'm thinking in terms of if it catches fire, we're gonna have to evacuate a large area or that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that's a fair question.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Higgins, thank you very much. We have two more items on the agenda. We may have to take a recess, but Justice Lyon, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, just since I know we have the museum board here to talk, I'll just keep mine quick. Margaret sent out a web map I created real quickly. If everybody just wants to look at that, and we can kind of move from there and just bring suggestions. If you want to email back to Mr. Anderson or Randy and just kind of let me know what works. I'm gonna, Mr. Anderson's gonna give me traffic counts as well on some county roads so I can do some more upgrades. But just look over the map and we'll just go from there. Just make it quick so we can get the museum board built for the core meeting.
Justice York.
I will take a look at this. Thank you very much for sending it out. Something I want to make sure is on your radar if it isn't already, but the Conway Cycling, I'm losing the name of the organization, but they have maps that designate cycling routes throughout the county. And so as we think about the particular routes, the particular highways, and how they might be classified and the implications for multimodal transit, including cyclists, I would put that on your radar so that if possible, that could be part of the decision-making process, those routes that are already favored by cyclists.
Yeah, and it's not turned on, but you can turn it on in the map. I pushed out the rest service from the city of Conway for their comprehensive plan, their master street plan, and that's another layer that I know they have on in their GIS that I can pull over and put it into the map as well. I think they have an active transportation plan that can easily pull that over. That probably has the bicycle plan and whatnot in it. Plus, Metro plan has quite a few layers as well that I can try to pull from for they've got their big intermodal.
The greenways.
The greenways, yep.
Yeah.
So I'll try to get those, and I can add those in as we go as well. Okay.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So with regards to this project, this is going to be an ongoing, it's going to take some time. And so definitely give it some really good thought and then look it over and then provide feedback, and we'll come back to this and then move forward. But with that, we've got a few minutes, and then we can recess and then come back after the full court. But I'd like to invite the museum board up. You heard from them last month in full court, and they would like to present to the infrastructure committee their plan and their opportunity to.
David Grimes, I'm the chair of the Barton County Museum Board, and Cindy Banks is secretary. And we just want to briefly kind of tell you where we're at and where we're going, and then share the plans we have for that most construction on the remodel. So you've got in front of you, we won't read through all this, but as you all know, Executive Director Lenita Langaware resigned a couple of months ago. Currently, we're not filling that position while we kind of figure out what the next steps are, remodel, redo, and whatnot. So Cindy and a host of volunteers are keeping the museum open to the public, and she's going to share a little bit about that briefly.
We have continued to organize the museum and have increased the number of volunteers that are coming in each week to help. Lots of willing people that wanted to help. Probably the big news is visitation is up tremendously. We decided to open over Toadsuck days, and on that Saturday, we were open from 10 to 4, and we had over 200 people come through. And they were excited to come. Some of them didn't know that it existed, but they were really, the smiles on the faces, they really enjoyed themselves. And over the next month and a half, we are going to have probably a dozen group tours coming through. Yesterday, we brought 26 people through, and we've got about that many coming, you know, that size groups coming through 12 more times over the next 6 weeks. So we are continuing to work with the coalition group to help push out the idea of encouraging people to pay their voluntary tax so that we can get those receipts up. We have some more banners coming out. We're going to have some more social media posts coming out. Just working on trying to get the word out and get people more aware of the museum and what it has to offer. We are also putting out some displays at various places around the county. Mr. Grimes can tell you about the one we just put at the city to help them celebrate their 150. We also are helping the library celebrate their 30th anniversary over in their Tyler Street location, and that's a wonderful display. If you get a chance to go see both of those, take a look at those. So that's what we've been up to, and I'm going to turn it back to him.
Thank you, Ms. Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy. On the back of that sheet, you know, as we're planning on renovating and restoring and moving forward, lots of things we're brainstorming, but we think we can build the new county museum that is what we've had multiple discussions with Judge Dobson and Randy about what we want, and we have a blank slate to a degree, but we think we can really make this something that appeals to a broader audience, both in Parker County and out. We think we can make the county museum that can qualify for AP funding, for tourism, all kinds of neat things, even rebranding it as the Parker County Museum and Gardens, because Master Garden will turn it into a beautiful landscape. And so we've got multiple plans. Randy, here is, Judge Dodson recommended that we take these next steps to an infrastructure committee, because it is county infrastructure. And what we did, we had Steve Hurd design the schematic for the remodel, okay, full plan, we got the full plans ready to go. Judge Dobson thought, let's get Apple's construction involved. And they did, and they scaled it out for us, put quotes on it, and they're doing every bit of their work pro bono. They have done everything they've done so far pro bono, everything they're gonna do is pro bono. They basically serve as the general contractor, scale it out, scope it out, get the subs in, and make it the museum we want. Their estimate, this is not a bid, it's estimate, it's estimate. And their estimate to do everything is $712,000. On the back page, you can see we currently have $75,000 capital money on hand. We have an existing pledge from the Adcock Family Foundation, Buddy Adcock, for $100,000, contingent upon the county match. Before COVID, we had $100,000 given from County Corp for a county match, which is wonderful. They come outside done, now on the inside. And so what Judge Dobson, after many discussions, his suggestion was the county could put in $250,000. That would leave us to raise another $287,000 in addition to the $100,000 from Mr. Adcock and his family foundation. And then we could get this thing rolling. So that is what we have as of now.
Thank you, Mr. Grimes. So as the committee has just heard, you know, they've got some really good plans to revamp, revitalize the museum. And they've got a pretty good estimate here from Neb Holmes. I'd like for each of you to take a look at this. I expect this to bring this back.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And for the committee to look at this, the county contribution would be $250,000. So for the channel for this would be come back to us. We call another committee meeting. Write an ordinance of where this would come out of, and then we would debate everything. If it passes, it would go to Budget and Finance, and they would debate everything. If it passes, then it would come back to the full court. So I like this. I really appreciate this. You know, this is a lot more in depth than what we heard last month. We actually have something to see, and so I appreciate all the work that has went into this, because I know this was no easy task. But with that, do we have any questions before we break for full court?
one more thing real quick, timeline, it would be a 2-year project basically. So if you're taking funding, it can be split into 2 years because we would take the rest of this year to fundraise. Ann Turney, who had a history, career in fundraising, is leading our fundraising efforts. We've already got our committee working, you know, on what we need to do, but 2-year deal. So raise the rest of the money this year, begin construction early next year, with the goal would be reopen July 4th, 2026, America's 250th birthday. So that's sort of the timeline. Yeah. But thank you for your attention to this and your efforts, and we just want to get that in front of y'all and take the next step.
Thank you, and I apologize for the
It's
short
fine.
meeting.
That's all we have.
Ran long tonight, so.
Thank y'all.
With that, we will adjourn and let all the other JPs come up. Thank you.